Hi all, Mark O'Hare here from Sporting Bet. This is We Love Betting. This is my best bets from the Football League this week. I'm actually in my mum and dad's house in the middle of Siena against Bologna in Serie A to give you this. And I've just come back from a run in the gym, so excuse the lazy attire, shall we say. But how did we get on last week? Well, 2 wins from 3. Rochdale, the guys letting us down last week, 2-0 up against Dagenham and Redbridge at home, get a man sent off and go and draw 2-2s and scupper the hopes of a treble. Rochdale, I'm out to get you. Anyway, this week we'll start in the Championship, shall we? And Huddersfield against Watford is the first game I've decided to pick out, because Huddersfield, what can you say about Huddersfield? They sell Jordan Rhodes for £8 million on transfer deadline day, and they've just not looked back since. The guy scored 40 goals last year, but they don't need him. In those subsequent 5 league games, they've won 4, drawn 1. They're the form team in the Championship, and anyone who saw the Monday night game against Blackpool will see what a fantastic team they're looking at the moment as well. Simon Grayson's done a fantastic job. Up front, James Vaughan and Lee Novak are forming a formidable partnership and causing terror to that Blackpool defence, and there's no reason why I can't back them at the moment against Watford, a team who I put up anti-post as potential relegation candidates, mainly due to the Pozzo family taking over the club, and okay, I didn't really foresee them bringing so many players in and so many loan players, and I think they've had about 35 players in their squad. They've used already over 20 players already, and we're only just arriving in October, so a lot of upheaval. I don't really rate Gianfranco Zola either. I still think he's quite a novice manager. I think there's plenty of reasons to worry if I'm a Watford fan, so apologies for that. I will keep opposing you, especially when I see someone like Huddersfield at even money. What have I got down here? Well, in the last, also, Huddersfield, I'll start again, shall I? Huddersfield against Watford in the last 7 head-to-heads have won 5. Watford have failed to score 4 of those. Huddersfield have only conceded 4 goals all season as well in the Championship, which is a league best, I understand. And on the opening day they were very unlucky not to take anything away from a trip to Cardiff, which are looking like one of the best teams in the division at the moment. So plenty to be positive about Huddersfield, especially up front. They're not missing Jordan Rhodes at all. You sort of got to wonder if him leaving has allowed the other players to sort of step up and come into the limelight rather than Rhodes, and they really seem to be flourishing at the moment. So at even money, I certainly think Huddersfield are a fantastic bet this weekend. Into League One, it's a team I've decided to jump on the Tranmere bandwagon. I'm not going to pussyfoot around it because Ronnie Moore, what can you say about him? I mean, lots been made about Keith Hill at Barnsley at the moment, a wonderful job he's been doing, and Ronnie Moore deserves just as much credit, because when he took over last year, Tranmere were in dire straits. They looked like they could be relegation candidates. He took them up, didn't take them up, but he took them up the table, and he's really built a fantastic little squad together, and they've been brilliant this year, absolutely brilliant. The 100% home record, scored 12 goals and conceded just the 1. That's the best home attack and the best home defence. They've also possessed League One's top goal scorers as well in that absolutely fantastic little young talent. It's Jake Cassidy and Andy Robinson. They've got 7 goals each. And they absolutely annihilated Crawley at the weekend, 5-2. Okay, Crawley were defensively hopeless in that game, very unusual for themselves at home, but Tranmere deserve huge credit because they played in the counter-attack and was so ruthless. Again, Robinson and Cassidy are part of that again, and they should be watched. If you're a goal scorer, backer, take an eye on those two. They're at home to Brentford at the weekend, and they're 13-10 with Sporting Bet, and I'm surprised you can get anything other than even money or odds on really on Tranmere at the moment. Looking at Brentford, they arrive here, they're yet to win an away league game. They've drawn 3, lost 1. Okay, that's not such a bad record when you say they haven't won, drawing 3 of the 4. I am a big fan of Uwe Rosler, and if you saw our anti-post previews, I actually put Brentford up for promotion. He's a big factor in that, but he's trying to put across a lovely passing philosophy and possession philosophy, and okay, it's working at home, but away from home it's not such the same story. They've not won away from home since May. And I think he might struggle to impose his ideas, his philosophy, his strategy on the Brentford team away at Tranmere, Prenton Park, which is such a difficult place to play at the moment, especially against counter-attacking Tranmere, who just be so rampant recently. I can't say enough good words about them. Also, it's probably worth taking account, last year, Brentford, when they went to play the top 7 home and away, they played 14 games, won 1, drew 4 and lost 9. So 13-10 on Tranmere with Sporting Bet looks a fantastic bet. Finally into League Two then. Well, I'm talking about Fleetwood against Barnet, and I'll start with Fleetwood because last year Crawley came into the league as pretty much odds-on favourites to win it, get promoted. It was pretty dull if you're a punter, really, well, from my point of view anyway. They started like a steam train, and then they came across a little bit of a stumble around September, October time, if you remember. Fleetwood seemed to have done it as well. Started very well, hit a bit of a wobble in the past week, held to a goalless draw at Bristol Rovers. Rovers are struggling at the moment, and they also were hammered 5-2 by Port Vale, if you remember, just last week at home as well. If you take that Vale game out of the equation, Mickey Mellon's side have been very solid defensively. 5 clean sheets in 8 League Two matches, which deserves a lot of credit. Okay, 5 against Port Vale, but as I said, just ignore that because that was a blip. As for Barnet, well, I'm always happy to oppose Barnet in League Two, especially away from home. But you're not really going to get rich by backing Fleetwood to beat Barnet, are you? Barnet's new boss, Mark Robson, is trying to revolutionise what's going on at Barnet. He's trying to inject a similar philosophy to what Roberto Martinez did at Swansea when they were in League Two back all those years ago. But it's very hard to do that when you haven't really got the tools to basically make it work. It was what we're trying to say here, aren't we? Sadly for Barnet as well, they lost their top goal scorer, Isaiah McLeod, in the summer as well. He's been at Portsmouth, and that's been a huge blow because he pretty much kept them up single-handedly in my eyes last season. It's an incredibly competitive league, and Barnet have found it very tough again. They've made a winless start to the season. Last week's goalless draw with Rotherham will, of course, given them plenty of positives. That ended a run of 5 consecutive defeats. But goals win matches, and Barnet without McLeod haven't been getting them. They've been struggling a lot. Last weekend actually was their 5th game in 8, but they've failed to score. They've lost all 4 of their road trips as well, losing to 0 on all 4 occasions. Just bear in mind that's no goals and 4 away games and no points, and they've got to go to Fleetwood now, who've kept 5 clean sheets in 8 this season. Simple thing for me here is to back Fleetwood, not to back Fleetwood, to back the clean sheet, the Fleetwood clean sheet, which is 23-20, a lovely odds against price there with Sporting Bet. So in reverse order, should we go Fleetwood to keep a clean sheet at 23-20 against Barnet, Tranmere at 13-10 with Sporting Bet to beat Brentford, and Huddersfield at even money to beat Watford with Sporting Bet. Good luck.